Alright, today we're going to be playing Empire Total War, and I have cannons, so that's a thing. Also, I'm playing as France. My allies are England, and I'm battling the United States and Spain. Let's go over their line, see what they're doing. And they got some cannons set up. For some reason, they set the cannons up in some of their. Oh, they're moving. Okay. They're moving their lines to position towards mine. I'm not going to be moving this entire match. I'm not going to be moving whatsoever. I'm not going to be staying. I'm going to stay. I'm going to hold my lines because I know in these big group battles, even in general, it's kind of hard to coordinate. For me, at least, when I'm moving around, I'm moving a bunch of units through the battle. It's kind of hard for me to coordinate without pausing every 5 seconds to tell my men what to do. So I like to keep them in place as much as possible, and let the enemy army come to me. Because I mean, when they come to me, they become fatigued. Oh, this group right here is when the first shots are fired from my side. These are the first shots that I'm going to be firing throughout this match. I got my cannon set up so they're firing regular cannonballs, but when these guys get into range, because regular cannonballs have longer range than my scatter shots, so I'm going to be firing regular cannonballs at these guys at first. Fortunately, they're not very accurate with single groups like this. When you get big lines of people, cannonballs are a little bit better. They're more devastating. You have more leeway. But I'm firing at one group right now. Let's see. Let's fast forward. Stay here. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm firing scattershot, and as you can see, that's devastating. I've already taken out 9 of their guys with one shot. These guys pretty much get decimated. Not much here. I'm going to take a look at the our allies and see what they're doing. They're already in heated battle with Spain. Spain's kind of moving most of its army towards the United States side, and the United States is starting to move its army towards my lines. So as I said earlier, I'm going to stay back there, and then I'm going to let them come to me. Let's fast forward so this video is not extremely long, huh? These guys end up actually routing because I mean my cannons are just tearing them apart, but not before they shove their stakes in the ground. Because they lost more than half of their or just about half of their men just to stick some stakes in the ground. That was their mission in life. Yeah, their lines are slowly progressing towards me. They have, I think they actually have more units of line infantry than I do, especially with the backup from Spain. But Spain's also preoccupied with England or Great Britain's front as well. So they're kind of spreading their forces a little bit thin, in my opinion. These are NPCs, but I have it on the hardest difficulty. Speed this up a little bit more, so get the ball rolling a little bit. Now here you can see that Great Britain is moving its forces into the United States line and also Spain's line. Spain is also forming a line of troops along to try to counteract my forces. Now, instead of moving my forces in and then end up losing some in the process to the Americans' lines, the United States lines, I'm just gonna stay back with my cannons and I'm gonna take them out as I like to do. I like to soften them up. And now I can't tell if this was friendly fire on the part of the United States or Spain, but I think that actually might have been the Great Britain's cannons shooting some canister shots their way. I think any time now, you have the American line is going to be starting to move. I'm still firing many cannonballs over there. I'm going to speed this up to get them when they're finally starting to move over. Yeah, they start moving over here. Let's speed them up so they can see what they're doing. Yeah, these guys are a little bit outnumbered. Well, I guess not actually. But Great Britain's forming its lines backwards a little bit. This is just a cluster mess full of clustering. These guys are having a dance party raid kind of thing. Barbecue. Now the United States is moving slowly towards my lines. Once again, I'm France. And I kept my guys completely stationary throughout this entire thing. My line infantry doesn't move except for these 2 units on my left flank. These guys, these guys over here were starting to come over towards my cannons. I had these 2 hidden in the trees so they didn't see it, but by the time they realized that I already had my force. So stop these guys, get them into line formation so they can start shooting off volleys. Now, this is where my line infantry comes in. They start taking out the American forces, United States, I should say. This is also good as they approach me. I have my general right here. I think their general's a little bit farther back, fighting with Spain, everybody over there. So my general's close by. He doesn't move either. Actually, yep, general's bodyguards. They're sending their general in right now, which was a bad idea. Cause, I mean, why would you attack my front lines with your general? But my general's close by, so that means that my men are going to be less likely to rout than these guys, which is good. I have these guys defending my cannons over here. I'm just gonna keep my line, as I said. This is how I like to fight, especially in campaign, to minimize losses. Yeah, their general was killed. I think that was Spain's general. Now they're fleeing the battlefield. Reloading. This pretty much just continues. They try to do a charge here, but they're not being very organized. These guys are almost ready to flee anytime now. Charge in, get into hand-to-hand combat, or about to, and then they decide to rout. And these guys are about to do the same thing. They kind of like were on the fence about charging. Now I took out pretty much. I made the United States entire army rout essentially. When their army started to rout, this is when you get Spain coming in, and then I realized this, and I had my cannons focusing on them, so I did the same thing with the United States, just soften them up before they get to my units. And they're moving on in, but again, I severely outnumber them. Most of these guys have been softened up either by the English or the or the British or my cannons. So this is pretty much a winning battle for me. I sent these guys out. I'm not sure what I was doing here, but I think it's funny because every once in a while you can hear these line infantry and they speak in their French and saying hello to the Spanish. Silly Frenchmen. They don't speak French. What are you doing? Yeah, these guys just can't get organized. The NPCs in this game, or I don't know. Either I'm super good at tacticizing, that's a word, or whoa, what happened? Or the NPCs are garbage. Probably just garbage. I'm not that good. But Spain is doing something. Over there, still occupied with the English, and my cannons are still focused on them. I'm gonna let them move in. Again, I'm just keeping these guys stationary because these guys are gonna get more tired, and then they're gonna want to rout more. And then my guys are going to be fresh the entire time. See, fresh, encourage, supporting army, whatnot. You guys are going to move on in. Now, sometimes these routing units, when they sense the presence of multiple units of their allies, they'll tend to try to help them out by stopping the routing, stop running, and then coming back to fight. But as you can see, as they come up, my guys already get a volley off before they're even ready to. Before they're even ready to fire, before they even form their lines in their unit. Yep, Spain's already a lot of his units are routing. The English or the British are already coming up and taking out most of the. Ooh, look at that! With that scatter shot, you just blow holes in the enemy unit. So with the pressure from Great Britain on one side and my pressure from my army when they're coming at me, so they're fighting two fronts, and they have their forces spread thin, even though they did kind of combine their armies in the beginning. Yeah, all their enemies are routing. All my enemies are routing now. So, I essentially just won this battle by staying stationary and just having these cannons as humongous support.